Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing one of the little Provence secrets on how to make very special eggplant, aka aubergine, that are marinated with the classic condiments plus Provence rosé wine. Now if you like rosé wine, you're going to be able to use the rosé to make that recipe and then drink the rosé when you service this aubergine. Now the rosé really adds something special to it. I can't describe, you're going to have to try it for yourself, but it is very unique. The process, very simple. We're going to be cutting the aubergine in little chunks. We're going to make the classic concoction, but this time with the vinegar, the olive oil, the condiments, and the wine. Cook the aubergine in it, and then put this into one big jar. We're going to leave this to cool down. You're going to have this in your fridge at the ready whenever you want to get them, and they can keep for a week or more, and it's absolutely delicious. On top of that, the process is super easy. So let's get started. To make this recipe, you don't need many ingredients, but there are a few key little things, starting here with the wine. Now the wine, you really want to get a French rosé wine. This is something from Provence, Aix-en-Provence. It's a simple rosé wine and no frill, but it really pays off to have that really signature taste from France when you're making that recipe. Some other rosé might be too sweet and not bring the result that is intended. So my advice, really get a French rosé. It's not because I'm French, it's because the recipe calls for it. The jar, okay, that you've got here, make sure it's heat proof because we're gonna have to pour a boiling liquid into it. So these are jars that are specifically made for pickling, for marinating, for preserving, okay? So they're made to be sustaining a lot of heat. So these two things here, very important. The rest of the ingredients, simple, equal amount of rosé wine, vinegar, double amount of olive oil, and then the classic condiment, you've got the garlic, the bay leaf, the thyme, salt and pepper, a bit of honey, and then 2 eggplants, aka aubergine, worth 500 grams, and that's about it. Let's go on the stove. Now before you're going to be preparing the aubergine, the first thing you're going to be doing here is to warm up and prepare the concoction with the wine, the vinegar, the olive oil, and the condiment, and that is happening on the stove. So make sure you measure everything, and we'll go on the stove. Making the concoction is extremely simple. We're going to take all of the liquid and put them in. So we've got plenty of olive oil, we've got plenty of vinegar, and we've got, of course, here the special rosé wine. With that, we're going to have the salt and pepper, the condiment, okay, so 2 or 3 bay leaf, spring of thyme, and I've crushed my garlic in here, and with that, the honey. Sorry about the blurriness, a little bit of you here. I'm going to put my heat on high because we're going to bring this to a boil, and the last ingredient is, of course, about a teaspoon of honey for the sweetness. Okay, if you want to go in there. And now to the boil. All right, so the mixture is boiling. I've reduced my heat a little bit. You can give it a little stir to mix everything. Make sure you dissolve the salt in there. And then we're going to reduce the heat and leave this to simmer for about 10 minutes while we prepare the aubergine. All right, so once the concoction is simmering on the side, you can take off the aubergine. Now, first thing I need to say about the aubergine, these are not the right type of aubergine. The real one from Provence are the type like the Lebanese aubergine. It's very thin, elongated ones. This is the only one I could find in my shop. But I know the size of the original one, and we have to cut these in little chunks of 4 to 5 centimeters. So it's basically bite-size kinds of things. So maybe we can start with this smaller one in here. So I try to buy the smaller you can if you have these ones. And very simple, we're just going to remove the end bits. So a little bit on here, a little bit on there. We're going to start by cutting this in half. So this is not easy because it's not straight. Okay, the problem with these, look at this. You got a really huge piece. So obviously, I think we're going to have to cut this almost in 3. To get the right size. So I'm going to go like that, maybe like that, and we've got pretty much that kind of size that we want. Okay, it's not ideal, but the pieces, I think, it's going to be something like that. You know, we could go even smaller if you want, something like this. These are roughly indication of size that you can work with if you want. But don't do massive chunks, because remember, these has to be aperitif style kind of bite size. If there's too much of that flesh in the big, in the big aubergine, you could potentially get rid of some of the seeds in there, end up with something a bit smaller, even cut it a bit there, cut it in half. You get the gist. And these are the example. Don't go too small. That's maybe a bit too small. but don't go too big neither, okay? But we're gonna chop everything in small bite-sized pieces. Let's go. So don't make the aubergine too early. As soon as they're done, they're gonna start to get brown. So really wait the last minute until your concoction is ready, and the 10 minutes has passed. I'm not gonna plunge this into the concoction straight off. Now you see, I love these countryside kind of recipes, but sometimes the measurement can be a bit questionable. I hope we're gonna have enough. There's not too much here. It's a wide pan. I'm gonna put everything on here. I'm gonna stir everything, and we're gonna leave this to cook very gently to 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna cook this aubergine in that concoction, and that's pretty much all what we need to do. And reduce the heat. We want a light simmer. You don't want a raging boil, because otherwise the aubergine could actually fall apart. And from time to time, maybe every 5 minutes or something, I'm going to try to put things around like that to make sure they all cook evenly. So I'm taking a slotted spoon, and as the cooking goes, I'm going to turn them around. So I think every 5-7 minutes. You could do it every 10 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway. So there we have it. It's been 20 minutes. And this is how it looks like. You see everything is nicely stewed or cooked, very soft actually, but still quite a little bit firm. And immediately we're going to take this out. I'm going to use a slotted spoon, and I've got a big bowl on the side, and I'm going to transfer the aubergine and the liquid into that jar so that we can put this in our special container. Now for the final step. As soon as the aubergines are ready, or the eggplant, we transfer them into that little container on here. This is the special one, remember, that is heat proof. So the boiling mixture into there with all the condiments and everything. I'm going to try to go very careful, bit by bit, and we start by putting in the aubergines. So as you can see, my jar is absolutely way too big. I thought it was going to be more aubergine, but once cooked, they really shrink a lot. So what I'm going to do, finally, I'm going to take all the very hot liquid and put all of this in there, and then we're going to close. First you close it tight, and then for more it says we need to do one last thing. So what is this last stage? Where typically you can take that jar, turn it upside down to make sure there's no air coming in, but this is typically done when you're making a preserve and you want to keep this for weeks. So if you want to go down that path, you need to know what you're doing, all about sterilizing the pot and making sure everything is airtight. Leave it with no air so you create a vacuum, and then when it's totally sealed you can start to store this on the shelf for several months. But I'm not going to tell you to do this at all, because you need to know what you're doing. There's a lot of safety precaution to be taken here. Or what we're doing, we're putting this into the jar until here. I'm going to leave this on the side here in the kitchen to cool down at room temperature until it's totally, let's say, lukewarm, and then transfer that into the fridge and leave it there for 24 hours. After 24 hours, you can start opening the jar and taking some aubergine and using them in all kinds of situations. It will keep happily, easily, with no problem in that state in your fridge for up to a week. I would even say 10 days with no problem. You're gonna have the jar ready with your pickled / marinated aubergine whenever you want. So I'll put this first on my bench, then in my fridge, and when we've passed the 24 hours, we'll have a look and we have a taste. Now 24 hours has finally passed with the next day, and you may have noticed that I've transferred the aubergine into a small jar because it was taking all my space in the fridge. So I just used another jar in there, left it outside and in the refrigerator, and then it's out. It's been out for a bit, and to avoid it gets a bit stiff in there, the oil, but I just wanted to give you my live reaction. I have not tasted the aubergine yet, so I'm going to put some in that little dish on here, but first just wanted to see how they look like. So this is after 24 hours. You know, it's really cooked. It's really fragile. Look at this. They look very, very, very good, and there's a nice fumes from the herbs, the olive oil and anything. So let me just grab some. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a few tests here. First, I'm going to put some in there on the side. We're going to try them as is, and then maybe a piece of meat and maybe on some bread or some kind of a little sandwich there, because you can serve this as a condiment or as a side, or just eat them like this if you want, not a problem at all. All right, let's go. So test number one, the aubergines on their own. I don't know if I'm going to take a smaller piece. Some are bigger than other. It's pickled. Really feels like a pickled pickle something in 24 hours. It's really, really soft. It's really, really good. It's interesting. You have the acidity from the vinegar. You can feel the rosé in there. I think it's hard to describe what it brings. A little savory note, and I think the honey, the thyme a little bit as well. But all right, test number 2. Lamb cutlets, just a bit of meat. I may try to get some of these on there, yeah. And maybe some. So that could be as a side dish. I'm putting them on top, but actually, let's put them on the side maybe. I'll take a bit of that drip of oil, but I'm gonna add something here. You see, I think I'm just gonna add a little bit of that on there. And you know, I talked about it. Un petit ballon de rosé. Hop. It's not gonna hurt. Okay, so what do we have? The lamb. It's well cooked. Piece of aubergine in there. Hop. All right. So that cuts through the fattiness of the lamb. It's a good lamb. Huh? Fattiness of the lamb goes really well. Okay, because the acidity of the aubergine goes well with the meat. I like that. Last piece for the road. And then watch this with a bit of rosé. Cheers. Not bad. Now the last one for the condiment. So I'm thinking of the sandwich in the south of France. We got lots of little sandwich. So you know, a beautiful little piece of crusty baguette was the other side. Very, very nice. And it's some mortadella. I think there's a bit of put a bit of mozzarella with a bit of old mustard on here. And these are the sandwich from the south. Huh? You will get these little things in a little cafe. But I just want to try with if we put a few pieces of these marinated aubergine. I'll take the small pieces in there because they're nice and pickled on there. Maybe just just a little bit of a. This is really the deli sandwich kind of thing, and maybe we take some more of that oil on there, a bit of a drizzle. You don't want it dry. So better view on here, the baguette, mortadella, and I've got the aubergine. And as a condiment, I got a feeling this is going to be pretty good. So how do I bite into this? I need to cut it, but I'm just going to take a big bite and put it back. Wow. Now that, I think, definitely my favorite. It mingles with the flavor and with the bread. Ooh, beautiful. Oh. So here we are, marinated aubergine with the rosé wine, served 3 different ways. So which one did I prefer? Definitely as a condiment. I think on its own it was okay. Very acidic, you can feel the vinegar. With the meat as a side, it was kind of nice when you have a fatty meat because it kind of cuts through and it adds that kind of tanginess to the whole mixture. But the condiment, I think, is going to be the most versatile. You have the jar in your fridge. You put this like this on a sandwich. You can put this on the top of a salad or a cold pasta salad or anything like this, and it will work absolutely beautifully in all kinds of scenarios. Now I'm going to leave this up to you. I would want you to really try that recipe, and with a glass of rosé, by the way, from Aix-en-Provence was also very good, but it is definitely worth it. Absolutely recommend that recipe. It is fast, 30 minutes, and you chop a few aubergines. There's no peeling, no putting salt on it, no prep, nothing. You cook this, boom, in a jar, you're done. As I said, you keep this for a week. It's beautiful. So let me know what you think in the comment section if you make that recipe. And next time, I'm going to be another recipe, this time a potato salad that I find made with wine as well. When you're cooking with more wine again to see how things can be done differently in French cooking. Okay, I'll see you next time. Take care all. Bye bye.
My appetite. Don't leave me high and dry.